Wisconsin Supreme Court has suspended Judge Hannah Dugan after federal charges. Yeah, so I guess the Supreme Court of Wisconsin didn't necessarily agree with Tony Evers, the governor of Wisconsin, Tony Evers, and all of these Democrat politicians, representatives, senators who are coming to the defense of Hannah Dugan for doing something highly illegal. So it's good to see that we have some adults in the room when it comes to this situation, because it's really a cut and dry case. I mean, if you believe the criminal complaint from this eyewitness that was in the courthouse at the time, this is someone that was actually, I believe, worked for the courthouse. They observed the whole situation. If you believe this individual, you trust this individual and their criminal complaint. Very, very thorough criminal complaint. It's pretty cut and dry. You have a sitting judge who's been a judge for years helping a criminal, not just a criminal, but an illegal alien. You know, there's two facets to this. The guy was in court for nearly beating a guy to death, hitting another woman in the process, and the victims were in the courtroom at the time, and the judge helps this guy escape federal authorities through a back non-public corridor into the outside, so he doesn't have to run into these federal agents. So it's pretty true. I mean, if that's all true, it's pretty cut and dry. And the Wisconsin Supreme Court is like, you know what? It's not a good idea for this judge to be on the bench. So let's suspend her. The Wisconsin Supreme Court suspended Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan Tuesday due to federal charges that allege she tried to help a man in her courtroom avoid arrest by federal immigration agents. Dugan was arrested Friday by the FBI in the Milwaukee County Courthouse and has been charged with 2 federal offenses, criminal offenses, felony obstruction of a federal agency, and a misdemeanor for concealing a person to help them avoid arrest. Then it goes through the story of what happened there. We know what happened. The court said in a 2-page letter that it was in the public interest to relieve Milwaukee Judge Hannah Dugan of her duties. The letter stated that Dugan is temporarily banned from exercising powers of a circuit court judge. In the exercise of the Supreme Court's constitutional authority, and in order to uphold public confidence in the courts of this state, we suspend Hannah Dugan here. Let's read this really quick, and then I'll go to the actual 2-page letter. Let's look at what Dugan's legal team said. Dugan's legal team said in a statement that they are disappointed that the court acted in unilateral fashion. We continue to assert Judge Dugan's innocence and look forward to her vindication in court. Okay. Innocent of what exactly? You know, it was funny because yesterday I was watching a video and there was a representative. You guys remember this representative from Milwaukee, or sorry, not Milwaukee, but Michigan, this Indian dude. He said that Donald Trump just did not like how Judge Dugan administered her courtroom. It's just like, okay, well, if Hannah Dugan administers her courtroom and in the process she is doing illegal actions, how she administrates her courtroom or administers a courtroom is illegal. If you are helping criminals escape or if you're doing other illegal activities in your courtroom, you're a criminal. Just because you are a judge does not put you above the law, as the Democrats love to say about a few months ago that nobody is above the law. But apparently Hannah Dugan is above the law. So I wonder if they're going to be just chalk this up, or the legal team is going to chalk this up to Hannah Dugan. This is how she always does things. She always, sometimes she just lets the people who come into her courtroom walk out through a private jury entrance and exit, lets them sit in the jury box and wait. And this is just so happens to be one of those cases where she just felt the urge to allow this criminal illegal alien to walk out the back, because sometimes she does that type of thing. Don't judge how she administers her courtroom, okay? Donald Trump just does not like how she runs her courtroom. No, he shouldn't, because that's illegal stuff. But here we go. Here's the letter. You are hereby notified that the court has entered the following order in response. The Milwaukee County Circuit Court, Hannah C. Dugan, judge. The court has learned that Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah C. Dugan has been charged with 2 federal criminal offenses, one of which is a felony and one of which is a misdemeanor. This court is charged in the Wisconsin Constitution with exercising superintending and administrative authority over the courts of this state. In the exercise of that constitutional authority, and in order to uphold the public's confidence in the courts of this state during the pendency of the criminal proceedings against Judge Dugan, we conclude on our own motion that it is in the public interest that she be temporarily relieved of her official duties. So right there, they know this whole situation is bad news. They know that people are looking at a judge and they're like, I can't believe this judge did this. And the Democrats are working overtime to try to spin the narrative to something completely different. But when it comes right down to it, the Wisconsin Supreme Court, they've got to look at reality. This is like, daddy's in the room here. This is Wisconsin Supreme Court. They know they can't just willy-nilly say BS and be all political because, at the end of the day, society has to have some sort of structure. And while politicians and even governors and these lower courts can do wacky things, when you start letting the higher courts, when you start letting them do crazy stuff, then you're starting to have an issue. Then society starts to, crumble. So it's good to see that the Wisconsin Supreme Court here is actually, taking action against Hannah Dugan because it's pretty clear, pretty cut and dry. You can't gaslight the American people so much that they believe that she actually did nothing here. Okay. Accordingly, it is ordered in the exercise of the court's superintending and administrative authority over all courts in the state that Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah C. Dugan is temporarily prohibited from exercising the powers of a circuit court judge in the state of Wisconsin, effective the date of this order and until further order of the court. So Hannah C. Dugan officially has been suspended. And really quick here, I just wanted to go through what Hannah Dugan is doing about a defense. Hannah Dugan has added former Bush Solicitor General to defense team. Paul Clement, Milwaukee Judge Hannah Dugan, who was arrested, charged last week, blah, 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 has tapped Bush Solicitor General Paul Clement to represent her, according to law.com. He's a appellate heavyweight, served as the U.S. Solicitor General from 2005 to 2009, and has argued more than 100 cases before the U.S. Supreme Court. He was actually on Trump's short list of Supreme Court nominees. So very, very interesting choice in a defense, Hannah Dugan. I tend to believe that 99% of the times when it comes to public officials, wealthy people, politicians, they choose lawyers and people to represent them, not necessarily based off of, how well the person knows the law. And I'm sure Paul Clement knows the law very well, but they tend to choose people who are connected. And that is most likely why she is choosing this individual, is because he knows people in the circle. And when you have a connected lawyer, they can really work some magic. So that's probably why she picked this guy. But let me know what you guys think about Hannah Dugan being suspended, adding a Bush Solicitor General to her defense team. What do you think about all that? Let me know down below in the comments what you think. Like and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. But until then, I'll see you on the next one.